All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
We're back.
Another one.
We're recording.
We are recording.
I got some shades on.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good today.
The hater blockers, as they say.
Yeah,
the stunner shades.
Stunner shade. I'm gonna have to beat a dog up today. Literally.
Man, yeah, it's been an eventful morning.
Very eventful morning. I got the car. I was listening to Marvin Gaye. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Thought you was back in the struggle.
Yeah. I was like, man, hold on, man. Took me a couple steps back. I said, I ain't scared of no dog. I started chasing the dog. The dog was trying to chase me. I said, nah, I ain't like that. Anyway, man, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
My name is Jacque Wright.
Adrian Peace.
And this is
the Nice Guys Podcast.
So today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Book of Clarence. The Book of Clarence.
Clarence,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting movie, man.
Yeah.
My feels on the movie.
Uh-huh.
I like some of the story. I like the story. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I like the story. It was parts of the movie I felt like was a little over exaggerated. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that they had an all-star cast. There's a lot of melanin present.
A lot of amazing actors.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I always, like I was saying in the movie theater yesterday, sometimes you have too many of a conglomerate of great actors. Sometimes they might take away, because it's like you got to have a hierarchy for me for movies. I feel like there's a person that's leading the movie and there's other people that's kind of like sublets. Yeah. And everybody's trying to, get that that outstanding ovation. Sometimes I feel like they kind of put a little too much emphasis on certain things and it becomes a little too over dramatized in situations and scenarios. I saw that when Clarence's mom did a couple different things.
Her character was kind of the main one that was doing that. I didn't really feel like it was an issue of like star power or anything like that, or like trying to compete. I think it was just the writing was a little shoddy in those places. But I don't know. Like overall, what was your rating for the?
Like I said, I gave it a solid 6 because I'm a huge fan of Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh yeah.
Just because he's just so different. I like people that's just eyeball, gonna do something different, but in tune with themselves in a way. The way he always plays his roles, from the movie he played with Adam Sandler to freaking Get Out, he just always.
He was in a movie with Adam Sandler?
Yeah, it was a movie where Adam Sandler was placing these bets and stuff like that.
Oh, Uncut Gems. Okay, I never saw that. I didn't know Lakeith was in that. Okay.
Yeah, he was in there. He was a villain, but he did a really good job. Like, he always plays a good part. I mean, the only part I didn't like the movie Death Note, but I like a lot of his movies he plays in. Like Sorry to Bother You is like a classic film to me. Man, people might, say no, with the Matadors and people turn into horses and just I like abstract stuff.
Yeah. And this movie was it had some of that abstractness to it for sure. I feel like what gives it for me is like a 7. And what gives it that is probably a lot of it has to do with like the cinematography. Like the camera work in the movie was amazing. Obviously it looked beautiful. And like you said, the story kept me engaged. It was an interesting story. It kept me engaged. So, for those reasons and, just bringing together so many, like you said, black actors, that's phenomenal. So,
and even my boy from Split, man, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my
James McAvoy.
Yeah, my boy. Yeah, exactly. Played the Beast, the Horde, or whatever. Shout out to him as well. Did a good job in that as well too. So I was like, okay, well, he did a good job.
I kept. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it was just like I kept wondering where Benedict Cumberbatch was in the movie. Like the entire movie, I was like, bro, I thought they said my boy Doctor Strange was gonna be in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
He was definitely in the movie.
He was definitely in the movie. That's all we can say.
Picture. It was very, absolutely.
That was a funny little twist.
Yeah.
And almost was like, I know they're not about to do no white savior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much. But it was a very good twist. I like that part. I think it just kind of that part of it, the writer was definitely cool for doing, because we still got that to this day. You know what I'm saying? You go to people's some cribs and you like, bro, for real? you know what I'm saying? Do you know who this person is?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think it was very interesting to see that depiction.
Yeah.
I did like the other pieces of like almost like mythology that was thrown in there as well too, with the Achilles heel and all. I don't want to spoil too much about the movie, but I think it was definitely interesting to see those parts be depiction. And even like some of the satirical parts, like we were talking about Samson and Delilah. Yeah, it was like his henchman and that was coming out. And it was like, wow, okay. So they had some biblical references and some satire, some satire too, which I definitely appreciated. But it was like, for me, it was like, it was pulling me in, and it was parts I'm just like, it got stale, and I was like, why'd you throw that in there? You could have edited that out. You know what I'm saying? It was just parts of me that just kind of threw me off. I had to rewatch it again. I didn't have expectations of the movie. I just wanted to have an open mind. But when I watched it, I definitely felt that there was some parts that just wouldn't continue to keep me interested as a viewer. Like I'm at the career, I probably would have walked away and started doing something else in the career, wash some dishes or something. Because some parts weren't as intriguing. And then one part that you threw, I don't want to say too much. I want you to be able to expand a little bit of the Keith and the accents and stuff like that. Bro. That was...
Yeah, see, I feel like that's one of the things that kind of takes away from it is, and I might just be like more of a stickler from it because I've always been like real fascinated with accents. Yeah. And just like different dialects and stuff like that. So like I always noticed that type of thing. And just throughout the movie, it's like, I'm like, okay, well, this is fiction in a way in any ways. So I guess, because they wouldn't be speaking English. Right. So I'm like, all right, I guess I understand. They just like, all right, I'll do whatever accent. But all these people had like different African accents. Some of them sound Nigerian. Some of them sound North African. Some, you know what I'm saying? Lakeith, him himself, like sometimes he had an accent throughout the movie. Sometimes he was just talking like a nigga from Atlanta. Yeah. Like,
it was very interesting. I guess they were just trying to depict that the accents just vary based off people and just in situations.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, but it's like, so they were very specific about the Roman accent, or like the the European accent, and like his character's Thomas, like that was on point.
Yeah, consistent too.
Consistent,
very consistent.
But it's like, so the only way that you could think to differentiate that character was for this character just not have an accent or to sometimes have an accent. Yeah. It didn't really make sense. So that kind of, it was like little things that kind of took me in and out of the movie sometimes. Yeah. But I think throughout the movie, I was just like really impressed by the camera work and stuff like that, the cinematography.
Yeah. But, I agree with that. I think the view was nice. Yeah. It's just the movie itself, certain parts are just spotty, and I was like into it, and I lost me. And then you had me again, and then you lost me again. I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It was very, like you said, spotty, man.
Yeah. Now, I do think it was, like you said already, a very interesting story, and it touched on a lot of things. I don't want to feel like we just nitpicking at all the bad things because we did enjoy the film, but. One of the things that, like we said with the mother, it's like, okay, this story is already kind of evergreen to me, even though it's a historical, it has a historical base. It's still like an evergreen story because like that stuff is still relevant today. Like Christianity, just religion in general, spirituality. We still talking about Jesus today. We still having debates about the historical accuracy of things. Like we still talking about it. And then not only that, but then the issues that he and everyone else was dealing with, like whether it's poverty or oppression from, European people, all those different things. It's like you don't have to make a concerted effort to make those things relevant because they already are. Okay. So, that's one of the things that bothers me in movies is when they're like, all right, we put this part in here. Make sure y'all pay attention to this because there's the hashtagables, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. The hashtagable moments. Okay. I'll call it. So it's like, all right, let's meet our quota for to show that we're being social justice aware or whatever.
I can see that. And then they were saying, I remember that part. I don't want to spoil the movie, but I think it was very interesting to me because like I have my own viewpoints on certain things when it comes to like religion, all that. So all this stuff was happening before, technology and stuff like that was prevalent. People can like depict and take pictures thereof. So for me, I'm a very tangible person. Yeah. Kind of like show me what it is that's going on. And I feel like one part that was very interesting because you're dealing with somebody that, so I don't want to give away too much, but certain things that were performed and done was what pushed that person to have a belief system at that point. Because they didn't, you know what I'm saying? And I don't get too much more away, but for me, I think I connected with that part because some things I'm just kind of like, okay, show me. I can understand the parable, the metaphors behind certain things to kind of express certain things as being miracles. Yeah. But then other things, I'm just like, maybe that's just something that they're trying to explain to you so you can take pieces of that in order to actually, better yourself in terms of what you need to go forth and doing, like in terms of faith and things of that nature, walking on water and changing things up. So I feel like those pieces for me definitely hit, you know what I mean? Because I sometimes like I have my own questions on like let me see that again. If this happened once, I mean, obviously life in itself is miraculous, us having this conversation. Right. Even being able to doubt what created us is something that's exceptional to me. Because like you can create something, can create you, but yet you don't believe it's present. You know what I mean? And it has forces you can't even see, but yet the forces are gonna exist, like air and stuff like that. So to me, I think it's just very interesting to see that character kind of go through that transition and dealing with life from a certain perspective, but then having to go through these different layers and like different situations that challenge them to make them, develop a belief system. So I feel like for those that come in with a certain mindset and want to be in that place, maybe, people that are, atheists, whatever the situation may be, or agnostic, I think this movie would definitely kind of connect with them as a, as a viewer as well, too. They have a certain, position of how they feel and what their thoughts are.
Right, I don't know anything about like the creator of the movie. I'm not sure what his beliefs are or anything like that, but it was I felt like it was very even-handedly done. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it was done with both with respect to people who are believers and who aren't. You know what I'm saying? Like there was things in there that is probably gonna piss off Christians. There's things in there that's probably gonna piss off atheists who are watching it and being very one-track minded about it. You know what I'm saying? Things that might come off as blasphemous or whatnot. But I think it was overall like very even-handedly done. Like everybody can get these jokes. Everybody can get these, like you said, these satires and stuff like that. I really liked that aspect of it.
I like that they challenged. It's always that conversation, the white Jesus and the black Jesus. Yeah. Hey, shout out to y'all for that one. I was like, oh, right. I was one like, it's one of those cringeworthy situations. It shouldn't be. But people that obviously, if you have a mindset that I'm superior, then my God has to be superior. It has to look like me. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like if you're inferior, then your God, my God can't look like you. Yeah. So I like the fact that they challenged that in the movie in a sense. And like Jay-Z being called Hova. It's a lot of things that went through my mind when I'm processing this movie because, of course, J to the Z means start with him and it ends with him type situation. Him believing that he's the Hova and the savior and stuff like that and his mindset on things. And even with Kanye thinking that he's the God, you know what I mean? So for you to have a part of a movie that talks about God and then also brings that depiction of there being a black Messiah, I think that was pretty interesting. I don't want to say too much. I feel like I'm going to get a movie away, but I think that's very interesting because it's always a debate.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the way that people react to that is just like no matter all of the things, it's just like it really makes you think about how we have to be so much more excellent, you know what I'm saying, to get recognition and stuff like that. Because this man ain't did nothing. But walk down the street and everybody is like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Coins fall. Right. It's a lot of stuff. And I don't want to get the movie, but it's just,
Yeah. I mean, it's going to come out in a couple weeks,
and it's
few weeks.
So
they ain't seen it by now, whatever.
Yeah.
We already gave the spoiler alert. But it's just like.
Spoiler alert. For real.
It's definitely interesting and cool how they depict that. It's like, dang, he literally just walking down the street and people falling at his feet.
But then there's things you can research and find out about like other people, countries that have been in connection with certain groups of individuals. The phenotype definitely, like if you want to read a book called, I always mention the Guns Journey, still talks about that. They thought that these people were like gods or ghosts, because of the appearance. Right. And because of the psyche behind it.
Well, just like most countries, I feel like, like the idea of white and black in general, like white colorism. Is purity. Colorism. Where exactly. You know what I'm saying? Korea and stuff, they got all these skin whitening
but you go there
and stuff like that.
Yeah, you go there and you're like,
right.
Talking to me like, what the hey, what up, cuz? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The Bushmen, you know the history behind that as well too. How they traveled in Adrian, traveled and obviously like some of the cats in the Himalayan. Like like you see that they came out with, coarse hair and brown skin. It's just like, oh, okay. So, I mean, those conversations I think become very interesting because of the fact that it is a superiority complex. Like I can't bow down or worship a God that looks like somebody else than myself. But then you go to places in Germany, you see the black, you see what I'm saying? You see the you know what I'm saying? It's just certain things you see that's depicted. And even recently with Cat Williams, shout out, he was like, go to Egypt, Napoleon chopped most of them noses off and burned down libraries and information that was supposed to help people out going forward. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very interesting to see that and have those conversations even still. And the fact that I'm even in the movie theater just thinking like, how do you feel about seeing this? It's still interesting to this day because it shouldn't even be a real conversation. It shouldn't be uncomfortable. Like if something created you, just be appreciative of the creation.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a fear that's behind a lot of that stuff that's being depicted and can't buy into it totally. I mean, even this week, somebody got mad as a client and called me a nigger. I was like, oh, wow. I can't get mad at that no more. I'm just like, well, I know by definition, I'm not an ignorant person. Or I might be ignorant to certain things, but not overall. So I can't allow that to take me down. So it's just very interesting seeing that. Because like when you think about religion, a lot of times that can be very racial too.
Absolutely.
Catholicism, the Christianity, unless you're non-denomination.
Anything that could be used as a tool to hold on to whatever power you have, like the people, they're gonna use it. And that religion is a very easy way to manipulate the masses. So they're gonna use the hell out of it, and they have, and will continue to do so. Yeah.
And it was little smaller excerpts. They kind of lead it into like talking about you dark skinned. I was like, I listened to certain little parts. I mean, if you rewatch the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. I was just like, and this from the the Roman Empire or whatever. And I was like, oh, they starting to kind of get into it because obviously the institution of slavery or racism is created so that somebody else can be able to justify the means of the negativity. But I want to get into that to death. I want to still talk about the Book of Clarence. And just how the movie went. To me, I probably need to rewatch it again.
Yeah, for sure.
There might be some things I might pick up on them and actually more so appreciate.
It was one of those movies. There's a lot going on in the background too.
Yeah,
like it's very like involved as far as like the background actors and stuff like that. That everybody's doing something and like it's very intentional, which is kudos to the director and everybody involved with that. Yeah, that was really dope. Everything was very intentional. So. It is definitely some things I'm sure we missed just watching it one time. Would have to go back and further dive into it.
For sure. And one thing I did notice in that movie, there was no conversation about the devil.
Right.
At all. Like, and when you think about the premise, and we probably have a conversation about that in another pod, of course, but it's just, I think it's very interesting that the devil was not talked about it all because we talked about the crucifixion and things that were challenging. Of course, the Messiah. I think it's very interesting that it was not brought up in that movie at all.
It's interesting, but I don't think that it was like intentional. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because like that just wasn't the focus of it, or nor was it like he was like, I'm right, I wasn't gonna kill you, but now that you can walk on water, you know what I'm saying? You gotta die, you know what I'm saying? We gotta crucify you. So it's like, religion wasn't really the main thing, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain
but, it. I mean, because when you think about religion, for me, it always starts off with the premise. You talk about Genesis, talk about, the Garden of Eden, and obviously everything that started. Like, if we hadn't eaten the apple, then we would still be in, harmony and still be in peace and still not even worry about certain things that, the knowledge of good and evil, all that good stuff. And the only reason I brought that up is because I talk about it all the time, the nature. I don't think the devil was really what it's a personification. I think the devil was just the intent, things that people do, but they don't want to take accountability for it. So they want to create a deity that they can actually put that on, but it's always a negative energy or force that's out there.
Yeah, I would say that was definitely embodied in the film.
Yeah, so that part, that's what I'm saying. Like for me, is when you think about religion, people always talk about God and the devil. It's like, there's no real adversary really because the devil's still a creation of what was created of the creator. So of course I'm always going to be able to overthrow that situation. It's all about what you do because it's only based on my understanding of it is that the devil only can manipulate. It doesn't have true power. So people still have their premise of what they can and cannot do or won't do in situations, and it's all about whether or not they're enticed to do so. And I feel like with Judas, obviously, to me, that's negative nature. Like he became jealous, and we know the story of the situation. So I feel like it's the intent of the Romans doing those in crazy, situations or whatever. So I think it's always the intentionality and the nature that is more so should be the focus. That's probably why they didn't bring up the devil. That's kind of like what I'm trying to get at. Like, because you always think about movies, like when you look at the Passion of Christ or whatever, the devil was in the movie at some point. Right. And you think about the crucifixion and all that stuff that took place, it's always there. But I always find it very interesting to understand the nature of what people are willing, the nature of a person, what they're willing and not willing to do can be swayed within that negative energy that can be personified or put into a place of being the devil. That's what I was kind of getting at.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah, I mean, it definitely would have been like a whole different movie if they had involved that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I can see that.
But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm trying not to speak on it because I know we're gonna do a whole episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone.
So yeah,
I'm leave it alone. But yeah, look out for that joint. We're gonna talk about it. But overall, I think the movie Rotten Tomatoes. Shout out to them. I don't always go based off everything they say because I have my own personal bias and I'm subjective with things. But they gave it a 69%. Still hasn't gotten an audience score because it probably hasn't been out long enough for them to get a real audience consensus. But I think that's close. I think that's a really good shot. I think it's a solid tomato, almost 70%.
Right.
There were some things I feel like could have been more of that I could have gotten from the story. But of course, I don't know the writer or the person that really, Jay-Z's supposed to directed it, but we have reserves on that too, you know what I'm saying? Shout out, I guess, to Jay-Z or whatever. So, but yeah, man, I think it was a very interesting flick. I'm probably have to rewatch it again personally just to kind of get some other pieces to make sure I'm not being too negative or too harsh of criticism of the film. But I think, I would suggest people to watch it. Get a feel. I didn't want to set my expectations because I love Lakeith Stanfield's work.
Yeah.
I didn't want to set it too high.
Going in, I didn't even know what the movie was about.
Okay.
I think I had seen the trailer or some of it, but I don't know. I tend to tune out on trailers because I don't.
It could be
like. Yeah, not just that. It could just they spoil stuff so much. I'm just like, I don't know. Like I want the reaction to be fresh.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, going into it pretty much blind. I feel like it didn't disappoint. Like you said, there was some areas that it definitely should have been improved, but overall not bad. Definitely would go check it out.
Okay.
Or wait till it hits the streaming services. But
yeah,
I think it's definitely a movie worth watching.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. Let it hit that.
Yeah, let it.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again on Prime.
Netflix is.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely, if y'all definitely want to take some time out to go watch the film prior to going on streaming platforms, definitely do so. Again, don't let us be the reasons why, but if you have any questions or comments, please throw them in the chat, of course.
Yeah. If you have seen the film, let us know what y'all think about it.
For real.
If you have questions for us or what we thought about specific parts of it, what I'm saying, let us know. We'd love to start a dialogue about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, definitely, man, I think it's a little bit of a shorter episode. We kind of went into it a little bit just because of the fact, of course, we wanted to kind of do some other things, of course, and not kind of go into other pockets or whatnot. But again, thank y'all so much for for joining us, watching us. I think this was episode 20.
20-something.
20-something. It's in the 20s. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us, still rocking with us to this point. Again, my name is Jacque, right?
Adrian, peace.
And this is the Nice Guys Podcast. Y'all be safe, man. One love. Peace.